Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, the 7th game of the 1960 World Series. The New York Yankees versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Bobby Richardson leading off at second base. Tony Kubek, shortstop. Roger Maris, right field. Mickey Mantle, center field. Yogi Berra, left field. Bill Skowron, first base. John Blanchard doing the catching. And by the way, as you probably have learned by now, and as we learned after the game, Elston Howard, who was hit by a pitched ball, suffered a fracture of the little finger on the throwing hand and, of course, the sideline for today. Clete Boyer is hitting eighth, third base, and Bob Turley pitching. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, Bill Burden leading off, center field. Dick Groth, shortstop. Bob Skinner, who was injured early in the series, is back in action in left field. And Rocky Nelson will start at first base. Roberto Clemente hitting fifth, right field. Smokey Burgess in the sixth spot in the batting order, catching. Don Hope batting seventh, third base. Bill Mazeroski hitting eighth, catching, and Vernon Law doing the pitching.
Takes the Pirates to the field. And if Casey wins this one today, it will be his 8th World Series victory, which will be an all-time series record. He's tied currently at 7 each with Joe McCarthy. So the Bucks are in the field, and we'll set them up defensively for you in a moment. At first base, Rocky Nelson. At second base, Bill Mazeroski. Shortstop, Captain Dick Groth. The third baseman, Don Hook. In left field, back in action after missing all of the series practically, Bob Skinner. The center fielder, Bill Burden. And the right fielder, Roberto Clemente. Behind the plate, Forrest Smokey Burgess. And on the mound, the Deacon, Vernon Law, who goes after game number 3 and the one that'll do it for the Pirates. Coaching at first base for the Yankees is Ralph Houk. And at third base in his 19th World Series as player and coach, the Crow, Frankie Cossetti. Don Hoke has had his final word with Vern Law, who pitches on a bad ankle. Law having won Game 1 and Game 4 by scores of 6-4, 3-2, and both times relieved by Elroy Pace to save it for him, and goes to the darling of the crowd, Bobby Richardson, second baseman. And it's a ball. We're underway in the payoff ball game of the 1960 World Series. Richardson, 9 for 25 with a .360 average, 1 homer, 12 RBIs. Into shortstop, Dick Groth, 1 out. A hot liner down to shortstop Dick Groth, and there's one down on the Yankee first. Shortstop Tony Kubek, hitting .370 in the series, 10 homers, or 10 hits in 27 trips. No homers and 3 RBIs. He, along with Skowron, have the most hits in the series. Ball one. Curveball low. Warming up on the staff is Stafford and Chance. Slicing foul off the bat handle to the left. 1 ball, 1 strike. This alerts you to the possibility of a lot of thinking on the part of Mr. Stengel. They go for broke today. Stafford had been mentioned, along with Bobby Chance, as a possible starter. Turley will start, but Chance and Stafford will be ready. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fly ball into shallow right. Dropping back, Mazeroski. 2 away. Right fielder Roger Maris stands in. He has 8 hits in 25 for a .320 average. 2 home runs, 2 RBIs. Homered on the first day in the first inning with nobody on off Law. Law going on to win that game 6-4. Jamming, ball 1. Sweeping breaking ball inside from Meridian, Idaho's pride and joy, Vern Law. 20-9 for the season. Down low, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Mickey Mantle on deck for the Yankees. 7th game of the World Series. Fastball in there. 2 balls, 1 strike. Good view there of Vern Law, one of the greatest men in baseball. 2-1. Ball 3 inside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Two down on the Yankee first. Roger Maris the batter. 3 balls and a strike. Check foul. 3-2. On deck, broad-shouldered Mickey Mantle. Pops him foul, and it's Don Hoke and Burgess looking. It'll be Don Hoke, the third baseman, coming on the line for the out. The inning showed no runs, no errors, and nobody left. And so at the end of the first half inning, the score, New York nothing, Pittsburgh nothing. Burden 5 for 25 in the series. We'll lead off. And we've alerted you to the fact that a lefty and a righty are warming up in the Yankee bullpen. 1 ball. Berra in left field for the Yankees. Mickey Mantle in center. Roger Maris in right field. Fly ball into left center field. Yogi Berra has a chance out there. Deep out in left center. 1 down. Shortstop Dick Groat. 5 for 24 in the series. Ball 1. He's high with a fastball. That's Mickey Vernon coaching at first, and Frank Osiak at third. Pops him up along shortstop Kubek's territory. Kubek for the second out. 2 down in the Pirate first, and the batter is left fielder Bob Skinner. Had 1 hit in 3 trips. Back in action in Game 7. And will be playing with some duress. The left thumb badly swollen. When he was caught in the rundown, it picked and tagged him as he slid back into third base in the first game. Outfield has swung to the right on Bob Skinner. Strike on the slow curveball. Early in the regular season had 87 strikeouts and 88 walks. Law, by the way, had 120 strikeouts and only 40 walks. And Law pitched considerably more innings. Just outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Deacon went for 272 innings. That's Nelson on deck. As Turley's 173 for a regular season. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bob Skinner. Foul back, 1-2. In contrast to the Yankee bullpen, which is active with Shantz and Stafford, there is no action in the Pirate bullpen. Turley, of course, is quite aware of the activity down his left line. One ball, 2 strikes. Ball inside, 2-2. No score in the first inning. 2 down in the Pirates first. 2 balls, 2 strike inner. Ball 3, 3-2. That's young John Blanchard doing the catching. Elston hired out, as Mel told you, and Yogi Berra's in left field. Yankees have another catcher available to them if they'd like to use him, Dale Long. I don't know if he has his left-hand catcher's mitt with him, though. He walks him. Rocky Nelson, 2 for 6 in the series, batting in the number 4 spot, is on. So the Pirates have a base runner on a walk to Bob Skinner. And this odd batting stance that you will witness on the part of Rocky was developed in order to learn to pull the ball. He used to be more of a left field hitter, and he opened way up in this fashion. But you'll note also that on the swing that he's forward and ready to go. Just a little high on the curve. 1 ball, no strike. The runner at first, Bob Skinner, held by Moose Skowron. Not to overwork the phrase, but for both of these ball clubs, there's a long winter and there is no tomorrow. Down low, ball 2. 2 balls, no strike. This has been, as Mel was saying earlier, one of the zaniest World Series that you could ever witness. About everything in it except a forfeited ball game. 2 balls and no strikes. Turley very carefully eyeing Bob Skinner. Strike as he gets that slow curveball in there. 2 balls and a strike. Rocky registers a mild beef with National League umpire Bill Jakowski from North Walpole, New Hampshire, but only a mild one. Roberto Clemente in the on-deck circle there to the lower right of your screen. There's a drive, deep right field. Way back she goes, and you can kiss that one goodbye. Nelson slugs one over the right field screen, a drive of about 380 feet, and that brought Casey Stengel to the edge of the dugout steps. Right there, the wily veteran of the Yankees, as the Pirates take a 2-0 lead on a home run by Nelson, the second home run in this series by a Pirate. Clemente up. Strike. The only other home run was in Game 1. Again, you see the conversation there. Stengel doing a lot of thinking. The other home run was by Bill Mazeroski, and it won the first game. High fly out to right field, slicing foul. Coming over past Roger Maris. May have a play by the bullpen, will not, as it bounces up on top of the protective covering over the Pirate bullpen. Smokey Burgess on deck. Rocky Nelson in regular season play had 7 home runs. One ball, 2 strikes. So the Pirates sting Turley early with a walk and a long blast to right. Pops him up. Second baseman Bobby Richardson dropping back for it. And that's the out that retires the side. The inning, 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors and none left. And so at the end of the first inning, the score is Pittsburgh 2, the Yankees nothing. Mantle has 7 hits in 20 trips, 14 World Series home runs, 1 behind the immortal Babe Ruth all-time World Series record. Mantle, hitting .350 in the series, has racked that average up mostly as a right-handed batter. Ball 1 inside. Mickey has 3 homers for this series. One of them that left the ballpark in a very strange sector. There's a foul, 1-1. went out over the 4.36 mark and made it so phenomenal in right center field because he batted it out of there right-handed. The only batter in the history of baseball to do it in this ballpark. And this is the second oldest park in the National League. 1 ball, 1 strike to Mantle. We'll await the decision. He tried to drag it. Apparently was taken for a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Some of the fans think that his action of looking like he was trying to bunt was enough for a strike. He did not move his bat. Into right center field and going back past Billy Burden, and there for the out. 1 down. This, of course, will be a highly partisan Pittsburgh crowd, and any action on the part of the Yankees offensively will be met with stony silence. Quite a contrast to that of Yankee Stadium. Here is Yogi Berra. He's pounded out 67 World Series hits. He's in his 68th World Series game. They're both records, and he has many others. Yogi, playing left field, has 6 hits in 18 trips. Strike. Bouncing foul past Ralph Houck at first base. That's Nestor Shalak of the American League umpiring at first. The umpires have turned in a tremendous job in a hotly contested 7-game World Series. No balls, 2 strikes to Berra. Outside, 1 and 2. Law carefully wasting the fastball. Low and away to Yogi. Down for the hole, and over goes Hook. Knocks it down, comes up, and throws, and got it. A brilliant fielding play by the Tiger. Far to the left as Yogi tried a base hit to the opposite field and was thwarted by fine fielding. Here's the Moose, Bill Skowron, hitting .370 in the series. 10 homers, 27 RBIs. Tremendous power to all fields. Strike 1. He has 1 homer and 5 RBIs. Pirates 2, the Yankees nothing in the 2nd inning. Ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. Jammed him, ball 2, 2 balls and a strike. You'll observe Law will move this ball around. He's one of the better control pitchers in all of baseball. Ball 3, just inside, 3 and 1. Tremendously powerful Moose Skowron. Pops a foul out of play to the right. And it's 3 and 2. There you see a view of the newsreel men up on top of the right field pavilion. End of the line, 3 and 2 to Skowron. Slow bouncer toward short. Big hop up for Gross. And a Nelson for the out. For the Yankees in the 2nd, 3 up and 3 down. And so at the end of an inning and a half, there's Pittsburgh 2, the New York Yankees nothing. Burgess hitting at .267 for the series. Known by his teammates as the Little Round Man. Slow curve, ball 1. Yankee bullpen again active. Hard hit inside first for a base hit, and that is Maris coming around to field it brilliantly and holds it to a single. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all great credit to Roger Maris. Normally, that's a double. And Casey Stengel is coming out of the dugout. There you see the wily veteran of the New York Yankees in his 10th World Series. There have been other managers that have managed in many series. As an example, John McGraw won 10 pennants, but they only played 9 World Series. In 1902 and not 4, there were no World Series. They're calling for young Bill Stafford. And as he's coming in, let's bring in the voice of the New York Yankees, Mel Allen, who knows more about this youngster than anyone. Mel?
Bill Stafford is just 22 years old. Was brought up from Richmond late in the season when the Yankee pitching staff was sorely pressed, and as Casey put it, it needed to be rested. Turley gets a hand as he leaves. Stafford appeared in 12 games. He was used both as a starter and a reliever. And he won 3 games and lost 1.
Thank you, Mel. And certainly this is the right time to bring a youngster in, as they did over there. He was going to start him in the game at the stadium and decided he'd stay with experience and broke Stafford in the right way. Here's Don Hook up now. Don is 5 for 20 in the series. Runner at first is Smokey Burgess. Nobody out. Turley goes 1 inning and nobody out here in the second. Allows 2 runs, 2 hits, no strikeouts, issues a walk. 1 ball to Don Hook. Burgess at first, held by Skowron. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Curveball up around the eyes. He wears his age right on his back, 22. He'll soon outgrow that number. Or out-age it. Ball outside, 3-0. You're just looking into our picture with 2 down. Bob Turley in the first inning walked Bob Skinner, and Rocky Nelson lofted one into the lower right field deck to give it a 2-0 lead. He walks Don Hook. And that is the second walk in the ballgame. So Burgess goes into second, and Don Hook down to first, and Bill Mazeroski is the batter. And the Yankee bullpen starts to stir again. Clete Boyer in to have a little conversation with Stafford, and now going out to join him is catcher John Blanchard as Bill Mazeroski stands by. Bill hit a home run in game 1. Casey Stengel right there on the dugout steps, which is located on the third base side, now has a righty and a lefty going in his bullpen. In this game, he'll use them all. Chance on the left, Terry on the right. He'll use all that he has to use. Mazeroski bunts it down third. It's going to be allowed to roll and foul. Very smart execution by pitcher Stafford. Might have been called off the ball by Boyer. Neither could catch it, and they knew they had no play then. But to allow it to roll, and it went out foul. You recall, with Mazeroski up there, Law is due up, and they're bunting with the pitcher up to stop the threat of the double play, in addition to which Law is an excellent hitter. And the Yankees will attest to that. They're charging for a bunt, and it's down third this time, and picked up by Stafford, thrown, and they don't get it. The bases are loaded. And Casey's beside himself. Mazeroski, a bunt single as Stengel. When you see there, trying to figure out about this jam. And here he comes. Spry, 70-year-old, one of the great managers of all time, one of the real wits of baseball, and who never fails, wherever he is, to draw the members of the Fourth Estate and of radio and television to his side. And he can regale you with one story after another. And he is now telling young Stafford, not off, but what he wants him to do in this situation. Pittsburgh leading 2-0, has the bases loaded. As Vern Law, who drove in a run in the game at the stadium with a double down the left field line to help his own cause, stands up with the bases loaded. The Yankees are up at first and third. They're at double play depth at second and short. Ball one. Burgess at third. Polk at second. Mazeroski at first. And nobody out. One ball, one strike. A tight spot for anyone to be in, let alone a 22-year-old youngster by the name of Bill Stafford in the final game of the World Series. Check swing foul. Off to the right, 1-2. Bill Burden on deck. The Pirates in this series have had very little opportunity to KO the Yankees in one fell swoop. This represents about their first big opportunity, but Stafford right now stands in their way. Back to Stafford. He'll go to the plate for one. He'll go to first base for the other one. A double play on a 1-2-3 situation. And that's a mighty big double play for the Yankees. As Burgess is out at the plate, Law at first base. Hoke, of course, has moved to third, and Mazeroski to second. And Billy Burden is up. Pirates 2, the Yankees nothing. Burden flied to left field in the first inning. Has 3 runs batted in for the series. Foul ball out to right. Pulling the slow curveball deep into the upper deck in right field. Don Hoke at third. Bill Mazeroski at second. 2 away in the Pirates' second inning. Stafford didn't like that baseball. Receives a new one from the plate umpire, Bill Jakowski. So left field foul. 0-2. Burden tried to take the curveball and go down the left line with it. No balls, 2 strikes. There you see Shantz warming up along with Terry for a moment. Nothing in 2 to Burden. Almost hit him as he tried to put too much on a fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Into right center field, slug deep, and in there for the base hit. It's going to score a pair of runs as Burden will go to second on a bobble by Maris. Casey Stengel exhorting Stafford to hang in there. Those are the first runs the Pirates have scored off Stafford, and it's a 1-1 ruling, a hit and an error. Burden going to second base on the error by Roger Maris. Burden now has 5 RBIs. The Pirates lead 4-0. There's a fly foul by Grote out the right line. Grote popped to short in the first inning. That's Billy Burden returning to second. A key hit for the Pirates. Coming with 2 down after Stafford had turned a demoralizing bases-loaded, nobody-out situation into a little better spot with a double play, only to see the single come up. Down toward third base, and it is Boyer up, and he throws on to Skowron for the out. The inning showed 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error, and 1 left. And so at the end of the second inning, the score is Pittsburgh 4, the New York Yankees 0. John Blanchard and Clete Boyer, and the possibility existing of a hitter for Stafford here in the third. Blanchard is 4 for 7 in the series and is a fine hitter. Fouled up off the left side and no play available. No balls, 1 strike to John. This series has been blessed with most ideal weather. Back to Law. And a brilliant backhand stop as you saw it, and Nelson 1 out. Clete Boyer playing at third. 2 for 8 in the series, brother of Ken Boyer, the fine third baseman of the St. Louis Cardinals, who had a banner year. Clete changing his bat. This World Series is being brought to you in color exclusively on NBC TV. Mel told you earlier there's a little bit of a murky haze present here. Bobby Shantz now warming up, and Clete Boyer could have been very easily just changing bats and fiddling around a little bit, give Bobby a little more chance to warm up. 1 strike. Good curveball by Vern Law. There's Bobby Shantz. Pops him up into shallow center, and Mazeroski says he wants it. Surrounds it for the second out. Hector Lopez is getting the call. 2 come out now and bat for Bill Stafford. Lopez, as a pinch hitter in the stadium, banged a base hit into right field, and he likes to go that way. He has good power. He has 2 hits and 6 trips for a .333 average in the series. He bats for Stafford here in the Yankee third. Ball 1. Fly foul way out the right field line. Another foul ball, line to right. Somebody made a sensational one-hand stab of a red-hot liner. And the familiar cry, as you always hear in every baseball park, sign him up. To shortstop and on through for the base hit. Lopez gets his second pitch hit. And the first hit of the ball game off Law. And that will bring up Bobby Richardson, who lined to shortstop Dick Groat to lead off the Yankee first inning. A 2-out single to left by pinch hitter Hector Lopez. Now here's the series hero with RBIs, 12 of them, Bobby Richardson. Ball one. That's an all-time World Series RBI record. And when you see this little dreadnought at 150 pounds or so, overshadowing such great names down through the years in World Series. There's a fly ball into left that Bob Skinner has measured, and it is all. No runs, one hit, no errors, and one left. And so at the end of 2.5 innings, the score, the Pittsburgh Pirates 4, the New York Yankees nothing. We're looking at the third Yankee pitcher, Bobby Shantz, and Mel Allen has the log on him.
Bobby was used as a relief pitcher by the Yankees, won 5 and lost 4, has made 1 appearance in this World Series in relief, and worked 1 1/3 innings effectively. Bobby was the most valuable player in the American League in 1952, then suffered a sore arm which reduced his effectiveness, but he has toiled in an efficient manner in relief since he became a Yankee. This, of course, is the second World Series in which Bobby has participated.
He goes to Bob Skinner, who walked and scored. Ball one. Skinner, as you saw, will bluff the bunt there, but most likely, when he gets down to the 2-strike situation, if he gets that far, will try to take Shantz into left field. Yogi, by the way, is giving Skinner a considerable amount of the left field line. Pulls it, though, down to first, and Skowron on a nice play. On to Bobby Shantz, and it's 1 away. Got an inside pitch and went with it. Here's Rocky Nelson, hero to the Pittsburgh fans, certainly not to the Yankee fans. His first World Series home run in his first at bat in Game 7 found Bob Skinner aboard, and it gave the Bucks a 2-0 lead. They added 2 more in the second. Shantz is one of those quick fielding pitchers that managers dream of and so seldom find. He goes with the Burkeens, the Burdettes, and the Haddixes. 1 ball. Along with the right foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. It will be interesting to note the duel between Shantz and Rocky Nelson, for Nelson has a greater lifetime average against left-hand pitching than he does against right-hand pitching. He says it's because he waits longer on the left-hander and can pull them a little better on occasion. Ball 1, strike 1 to Rocky. Ball 2, 2-1. That time, Shantz might have thought Rocky was looking for the curveball. Shantz with a good screwball, several off-speed curveballs, good fastball. Ball 3, curveball hung inside. Roberto Clemente is on deck. Roberto has more hits than anybody for Pittsburgh, 8 in the series. Nelson has walked. That is the 3rd walk. And significantly, in looking back over the ball game, the Pirates have not had the advantage of many bases on balls off Yankee pitching. But today have picked up 3, and Stengel is looking again with the eagle eye. Been a total of 12 Pirate walks in the series. Not too many considering all the games played. Clemente, a bunt foul. No balls, 1 strike. That pitch was so far outside he would almost have needed an oar to get to it. Rocky Nelson retreating to first. 1 out, 1 on in the Pirates' 3rd. They lead the Yankees 4-0 in the 7th game of the World Series. Ball low, curveball, 1-1. Clemente developed the habit of standing way away from the plate about mid-season in Chicago. But he hit way over 300. Slow bouncer towards second base. Richardson up, backhanding on to Kubek on the first, double play. 4-6 Freer. And so at the end of 3 innings, the score is Pittsburgh 4 and the New York Yankees nothing. Tony Kubek, who popped to second. First time up. Takes one in there. There have been 13 double plays in the series, 8 of them executed by the Yankees. And that double play has been a valuable weapon in the games that needed close decision. Foul on the change. Big motion by the Deacon that time. No balls, 2 strikes. Vern Law is the perfect example of what mothers and fathers thrill over if their sons idolize a baseball player. Ball inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pops him up, and it's Dick Grote at short who wants it. 1 away. Baseball throughout the years has provided the fans the nation over with some of the finest idols that any youngster could ever have. And that's why it is truly the greatest sport of them all. Roger Maris, who fouled out to third in the first inning. Fouled back. That's Mickey Mantle on deck. The outfield is set around to the right on Roger. The bunt is foul down third. Fielded by Frankie Cressetti. One of the greatest of them all. 19 World Series as player and coach for an all-time record, the Crow. This is Kubek. Nothing in 2 count. There you see Law wasting his fastball. Or rather, this is Maris. Kubek having popped to short. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Foul away. Tough. That one went over everything. Fans waiting expectantly for it to come down off the roof, maybe get a shot at it in the lower boxes. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Roger Maris. Long drive foul up over the roof. There have only been 7 hit over that right field stanchion. Babe Ruth was the first to do it. Mickey Mantle in an exhibition game. Ted Beard, Bob Skinner, Wally Moon twice. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now Vernon took a little too much time for Roger. They say this fellow has the most perfect picture swing you'd ever wish to witness. He's jammed 2-2. The home run he hit at the stadium off Haddix on a 3-1 pitch was planted about as deep in that upper deck at Yankee Stadium as you'd ever see one planted. There's a rap for right that Clemente comes on. The ball hangs up for him. Ball started to sink and then held on for Roberto Clemente, and it's 2 down. And Mickey Mantle, who flied into right center field back in the second inning, will come on. 2 down in the Yankee fourth. The Pirates in front, 4-0. There's a drive into right field. And Clemente comes on to grab it. That's the second hit off Law, the first hit by Mantle. And the batter will be Yogi Berra, who was robbed of a base hit back in the second on a brilliant fielding play by Don Hope. Foul back. That's Mickey Mantle at first base. Ball one. There's a fly ball out to right field. Clemente hustling and hauls it in. A long run for the out. And it is no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. And so at the end of 3 1/2 innings, the score, Pittsburgh 4, New York Yankees nothing. Burgess up, single to right first time. Chops this one down slowly towards second. Richardson up. And will now give it off to Skowron, although Chance was there to be prepared. 1 down, and here's Don Hook, who drew a walk in the second inning and came around to score. Outfield swings left to Don. Right fielder Maris stays deep, however, toward the line. Strike. Slow curveball. Polk has the ability to hit the long ball to right field for the home run. Down the alley, fastball, strike 2. Bobby Chance quickly out in front of Don Hook. That's Bill Mazeroski on deck. Hook waving at a gnat or something. Ball outside, 1-2. Bobby Chance in relief of Stafford, who in turn relieved Bob Turley. The proof being that this game of baseball, there's room for all sizes and shapes. This fella's heart's every bit as big as his body. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Slowly hit towards second baseman Bobby Richardson. To Skowron, and there are 2 away in the 4th. Bill Mazeroski, who bunted for a base hit to load the bases in the second inning. And it looked like the Pirates were going to put on one of the New York Yankee route acts, but Stafford got a double play. And then Verdon pumped a 2-out single into right to drive in a couple of big runs, and the Pirates took a 4-0 lead. Ball 1. Mazeroski hit at .273 for the season, 11 homers and 64 RBIs. 58 had the great year. The off year was in 59, came back this year very strongly. Ball 2, 2 balls, no strikes. High pop, shallow left. Boyer, Kubek, and Berra. It is Kubek, the shortstop, that makes the catch that retires the side. 3 up and 3 down. And so at the end of the 4th inning, the score is Pittsburgh 4, the New York Yankees nothing. Vern Law pitching with a bad left ankle. After his 3rd victory in the series, comes right in there with a strike. The bunt is down first and foul. That's about as long a foul bunt as you'll see. 0-2. You will observe when Law pitches that he momentarily takes his eye off the plate. This was a style developed after a couple of years of pitching 2 true straight overhand. He then began to hide the ball behind his left thigh, and he takes his head off the plate for the moment, and then picks it up quickly. And there's a drive to deep right. That ball has a chance to get out of here, and you can kiss that one goodbye. Home run for Skowron. His 2nd in the series, and both of them to the opposite field. And it's a 4-1 ball game as the Moose drills one deep into right. And that'll bring up Blanchard. So the Yankees edge partway back into the ball game. As Blanchard, who went out pitcher to first, back into third, is now in there. High foul, no play. Right side. Newsreel cameraman busily grinding away up on top there. That's the third deck, so they're way up. Ball. That's the 6th World Series home run for Moose Skowron. And one of them was a grand slammer. 1 ball, 1 strike to Blanchard. Pirate bullpen is up. There's a little fly ball out into shallow center, and Billy Burden coming on. And it's 1 away. The Yankee bullpen is also active as we're getting down to the lower part of the Yankee batting order. Fleet Boyer, who popped to second, is coming on now. Roy Face is up for Pittsburgh. And somebody else we can't see. There's a try for the bunt. Fouled it off. That's Roy Face on the left. That is Coates there. Right, nothing to do. Harvey Haddix was the left-hander, and Roy Face the right-hander for Pittsburgh. Coates is the right-hander for the Yankees. Skowron homered off Law in the 4th inning of the 4th game. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That is the 3rd homer hit off Law in the series, as Maris also has one. Just outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pirates 4, the Yankees 1 in the top half of the 5th. 1 out and none on. Two balls, 2 strikes. And solidly hit right to Mazeroski at second base. When you're going right, those drives drop in. And when things aren't breaking right for you, they don't. Bobby Shantz will now hit. Casey wanted to be ready. Should had Boyer been on. Coates will now sit down. And Shantz standing in there. Curveball for a strike. Down the left field line, hooking foul. 0-2. As you observe there, the Yankee bullpen is full. Both bullpens are in that department. 0-2 to Shantz. Just outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Three hits off Law. Ball, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Pops him up. And Rocky Nelson comes up by the mound for the out. 1 run on 1 hit, a homer by Skowron. So at the end of 4 1/2 innings, the score: Pittsburgh 4, the New York Yankees 1. And it's both a pleasure and a privilege to have shared the microphones with him, Mel Allen of the Yankees.
Hello there, everybody. Thank you very much, Bob Prince. Vernon Law at bat. Strike one. It's the last half of the 5th inning. Pittsburgh out in front by a score of 4-1 in the final game of the World Series. Bobby Shantz, the 3rd Yankee pitcher. Law takes a high curve. Ball 1, 1-1. Law bounced to the box into a double play in the second inning with the bases loaded. But Bill Burton did not let relief pitcher Bill Stafford off the hook when he followed with a 2-run single. High for a ball, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Little Bobby Shantz pitching to Deacon Vernon Law. There's a drive deep down the left field line. That ball is going foul. We had to wait for the foul line umpire to call it. Stan Landis. That ball was given a good ride by Vern Law. Vern Law in the 4th game of the series clouded a double when the Pirates scored their 3 runs in the 5th inning, enough to win that game 3-2. There's a shot one-handed by Boyer, and Law is retired. Vern Law getting a hand as he comes back to the dugout. And here's Bill Burton. Fly to left and single to right. Driven in 2 runs. High outside, ball 1. It was in game 4, after Law's 2-out double had driven in 1 run, that Burton came through the base hit to score the 2nd and 3rd runs, which were the clinchers. Inside for a ball, 2-0. And it may well turn out that the 2 runs that he drove in the 2nd inning with 2 out could be the clinchers in this one. Dick Grote on deck, 1 out, last of the 5th, 4-1 Pittsburgh. Curveball missed, strike 2, 2-2. Bobby Shantz from Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Check that, 2-1. Curveball is over. Strike 2, 2-2. The on-deck man, Dick Grote. Outfield playing Burton, just a little toward right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Curve is lashed toward second. Richardson to his right. And there are 2 away. 2 up and 2 down the last of the 5th. The Pirates leading 4-1. And up comes the National League batting champion, Pirate captain, the aggressive Dick Grote. Popped to short and grounded to third. A native son. Two away in the 5th. 4-1 Pittsburgh. Curveball is over, strike 1. Rocky Nelson homered off start of Bob Turley with 2 out in the 1st inning after Turley had walked Skinner. And the Pirates added another pair in the 2nd. A line drive right back at Bobby. And the side is retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And so at the end of the 5th inning, the score is Pittsburgh 4, New York 1.
It's been called Spaceship Earth. Not a big place, but it's our place. And we're learning that what happens in one part of it affects all of us. We're Chevrolet. And with the all-new plug-in Volt and other energy-saving vehicles like the brand-new Cruise, we're helping reduce emissions in the air we all breathe. And we're not stopping there. Starting today, when you buy a Chevrolet, we'll invest in renewable energy, energy efficiency, and tree planting programs across America. Over the next few years, these initiatives will reduce carbon emissions by up to 8 million metric tons. That's like planting a forest the size of Yellowstone. Is it enough? No. But it's the start. Because a true conservationist knows that the world is not given to us by our fathers and mothers. It is borrowed from our children. It's why today, tomorrow, and on into a better future, we can proudly say, Chevy runs deep.
1975. Tom Terrific takes the NL Cy Young. Freddie Lynn snags the AL Rookie of the Year and MVP. And the Red Sox and Reds battle in one of the most memorable fall classics of all time. Baseball Seasons, Monday at 9 Eastern and Pacific on MLB Network.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me. For giving us.
The chance to play. To learn.
To grow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the ability, the skills,
the power to grow up and be
whatever, anything, everything.
I want to be.
And everything I am today.
RBI stands for Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities. But to its thousands of participants across the country, it's so much more than baseball. This is beyond opportunity. This is beyond baseball.
You are watching this MLB Network special presentation, Game 7 of the 1960 World Series, brought to you with limited commercial interruptions by Chevrolet. Now to the top of the 6th.
Bobby Richardson at bat, attempting a bunt, strike one. First half of the 6th inning, Bobby line to short and line to left. Tony Kubek on deck and Roger Maris to follow. Vern Law, a fast worker. Richardson stepped out. No balls, one strike. There's a liner in the center. Burton coming on fast and can't get it. It's in there for a base hit. Bobby Richardson singles to center. Coming up with his 10th World Series hit. Tying Kubek for a total of 10. Bill Skowron has had 11 to lead. Tony Kubek popped to second, popped to short. Inside, ball one. The Pirate bullpen up. Roy Face and Harvey Haddix. Pirates leading 4-1 in the 6th inning. He held off, ball two. Casey Stengel in front of that dugout, watching the scene. Mantle number 7 walking around, and Don Hope moves over from third now to talk to Vernon Law, who has won his 2 previous starts, though he did not finish either one, working a total of 13 in the 3rd innings and giving up just 4 runs. 2 balls, no strikes. Bobby Richardson on first, Pirates out front 4-1, 6th inning, final game of the World Series. It's in there, strike one, 2-1. Richardson on first. Rocky Nelson stepped behind him. Tony Kubek, the batter. 2 balls, 1 strike. It's inside for ball 3, 3-1. Vern Law pitching very carefully, trying to aim the ball. That's in there. Strike 2. Full count. A master at control. Only walked 40 men in 120 innings during the regular season. Full count. Richardson playing it safely. Ball 4. Kubek walks, Richardson moves to second, and Danny Murtaugh comes out of the Pirate dugout with Roger Maris due up for New York, and with Pace and Haddix in the Pirate bullpen. There is no tomorrow, and the managers will not hesitate to throw everybody that's available into this ball game. Danny, who is a master at handling men. Don Hope facing you. Danny has great confidence in Vernon Law, as one would, that won 20 games, but more than that, he is a stout-hearted man. Now let's see what Danny, he's going to bring in Roy Face. Roy Face, who has saved 2 games in this series for Law and 1 for Harvey Haddix. Casey Stengel in his dugout. Base relieved Law in the 8th inning of the first game. A hand for Law as he leaves. And he's getting a standing ovation. Roy Face coming on. He has been, and I say this respectfully of Roy Face, the Larry Sherry of the 1960 World Series. Face relieved Law in the 7th inning at Yankee Stadium. Faced only 8 men, the final 8, and got them out. Roy Face in 3 games has allowed just 3 hits in 7 1/3 innings of relief pitching. He gave up 2 runs in the opening game in the 9th inning with the Pirates leading 6-2. He gave up a home run to pinch hitter Elston Howard with 1 on and gave up 1 other hit. Roger Maris up 4-1 Pittsburgh, 6th inning. It's in there for a strike. Maris laid off it, thought the ball was inside. Maris fouled out to third and lined to right. Bobby Richardson is on second. Tony Kubek on first. Nobody out. 6th inning. Pirates 4. Yankees 1. Outside. Ball 1. 1-1. That's Beck on first. Richardson's on second. One ball, 1 strike. 4-1 Pittsburgh. There's a foul ball hit solidly down the right field line in the upper deck. A 1-2 count. Ground ball foul down the first base line. In game 1, Face came on the 8th inning with 2 on, nobody out, got the next 3, gave up 3 hits and 2 runs in the 9th. But the Yankees have done nothing with him since. A 1-2 count. Roger Maris the batter, 4-1 Pittsburgh. A high pop down the third baseline. Don Hoken, foul ground, makes the catch. Hugh Casey holds the record for most relief appearances in the series at 6. Mickey Mantle now coming out of the dugout. Mantle flying to right center and single to right. Yogi Berra on deck. Pirates out front 4-1 in the concluding game of the World Series. Richardson on second, Kubek on first. 1 away. There's a ground ball hit out to Grote and through. And here comes Richardson around third to score. Kubek on his way to third. And it is a 4-2 ball game. As Mantle comes through with his second hit. his 9th of the series, and his 10th run batted in the series. Yogi Berra comes up, grounded to third and flied to right. Pirates leading 4-2. It's the 6th inning. Dick Groat made a tremendous, desperate effort to grab that ball. He could not have succeeded in tossing out Mantle, but he could have prevented a run from scoring for that moment had he held on to it. 1 out. As a bouncer hit foul down the first baseline, just barely foul. Man, that was close. Mantle retreating to first, Kubek to third. No balls, 1 strike. Kubek on third, Mantle on first. 1 out. There's a drive hit deep to right field, but it is going to go foul. And out of play, and it is all the way, all the way for a home run. Clemente never moved over, and we thought the ball was curving foul. It is a home run for Yogi Berra. Scoring. Kubek and Mantle ahead of him. And the Yankees have forged in front 5-4. Brendan Haddock's in the bullpen. A towering drive down the line. And Roberto Clemente fooled us a moment when he just stood there, and we assumed that he thought the ball was going foul. And Jim Honeychick then signaled a home run. 5-4 New York, and the batter now is Bill Skowron. One away. Low outside, ball 1. Berra's first homer in this series. The Yankees' 10th. Foul back to the screen. Berra grounded to third. Skowron grounded to short and hit the home run in the 5th inning. Yogi Berra, one of the game's most dangerous batters, hits a 3-run homer to put the Yanks in front 5-4. Inside for a ball, 2-1. One away in the 6th inning. It's a high pop foul off third. Don Hoke moves over near the stands, under it, and makes the catch. Two away in the 6th inning. Now the batter is Johnny Blanchard, who hit to the box and flied to center. New York 5, Pittsburgh 4 in the 6th inning. Yankees coming from behind 4-0. Inside, ball 1. Low and inside, ball 2. Two balls, no strikes, 2 outs. A bouncer foul down the first baseline. Yogi Berra connecting for his 11th World Series homer. First half of the 6th inning. It's high, ball 3, 3-1. Four runs in for New York in the 6th inning. Yankees 5, Pirates 4. Ground ball hit foul down the first baseline. Roy Face in relief of Vern Law. Full count on John Blanchard. It's a high pop foul down the right field line and out of play. Vernon Law went 5 innings plus, didn't get anyone out in the 6th. Was charged with 3 of the runs. Ground ball hit to Rocky Nelson. He's up with it. And the side is retired. And so at the end of 5.5 innings, the score is New York 5, Pittsburgh 4. As we play ball in the last half of the 6th inning, Bob Skinner batting third in the order of leadoff. Nelson on deck and Roberto Clemente to follow. Berra's 3-run homer took Vernon Law out of the picture, of course, as a possible 3-game winner in the series. And as of the moment, Roy Face is the pitcher of record. 3 runs being charged to Law and 2 to Face. 5-4, New York, last half of the 6th inning. Bobby Shantz pitching. There's a liner into right field. Maris makes the catch, and there's one away. The Yankee bullpen is alive with Jim Coates and Ralph Terry. Now coming up is Rocky Nelson, who hit a 2-run homer in the first inning off Bob Turley, drew a pass in the 3rd. Ralph Terry on your left, Jim Coates on your right. One away. Curveball is lashed down to first. Gowan up with it. Chance over to cover. And they're 2 away. 2 up, 2 down, and the batter is Roberto Clemente. Popped to second and grounded to second in a double play. Smokey Burgess on deck. New York 5, Pittsburgh 4. It's the last of the 6th. Curveball is over. Strike 1. Slow curve. Smokey Burgess on deck. No balls, 1 strike. Fastball is low and inside. Count evened up at 1-1. Bobby Shantz, the 3rd Yankee pitcher. Curve is missed. Strike 2. Beautiful slow curve. One ball, 2 strikes. Clemente reaches the outside pitch. Shantz grabs it. Retired at first base. 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And so at the end of 6 innings, the score is Pittsburgh 4. 7th inning, Clete Boyer takes a strike. Boyer popped to second and lined to second. Strike 2. And Whitey Ford has gone down to the Yankee bullpen. There's a drive in left center. Skinner chasing it, and Burden makes the catch. 1 away in the 7th. And little Bobby Shantz coming up. The crowd responds with some applause. There's Whitey Ford. Seventh inning, 1 away. Low outside, ball 1. New York 5, Pittsburgh 4. It's the first of the 7th. Bobby Richardson on deck. It's a high foul to the left of the plate, out of play. Pirates got 2 runs in the first, 2 in the second. The Yankees 1 in the 5th and 4 in the 6th. With homers by Skowron and Berra accounting for 4 of the runs driven in. Mantle single drove in the other. High, ball 2, 2-1. Roy Face in relief of Vernon Law. 5-4 New York in the 7th inning. There's a bouncer over Hope's head down the left field line for a base hit. Bobby turns first and will hold up as Skinner whips a good throw back into Mazeroski. Bobby Shantz bounces a single over the drawn-in Don Hope. And now coming to bat is Bobby Richardson. Line to short, line to left, and single to center. One away. One on. Holding him on. It's low for a ball. Pirate bullpen busy. One of them is Bob Friend. One away. It's right over for a strike, 1-1. Yankees 5, Pirates 4 in the 7th inning. Final game of the 1960 World Series. Harvey Haddix is warming up along with Friend. A line drive, and it is foul down the right field line. Into the Pirate bullpen. And you see Bob Friend, the right-hander, warming up. Shantz walks slowly back to first base. Whitey Ford, who was warming up, sits down. A 1-2 count on Bobby in a tense ball game. The winner to be the world champion. 5-4 New York. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A high foul out of play off to the left of the plate. Smokey Burgess had a quick word with Roy Face. One out, a 1-2 count on the batter. Chance on first. Richardson bounces it to Hope. And 1 out, that's all. Force out at second on Bobby Shantz. Hope to Mazeroski. I don't know whether Maz would have had a chance for a double play or not. It appeared as if he skidded moving into the bag to take the throw. 2 away in the 7th, and here's Tony Kubek, who popped to second, popped to short, and drew the walk that forced the replacement of Law by Face. Yankees 5, Pirates 4, 7th inning. 2 down. Inside, ball 1. Pirate bullpen busy. Face is the scheduled 4th batter in the last of the 7th. Holding Richardson close. Bobby bluffed to break toward second and had to hurry back. 2 down. There's a line drive in the right field. Clemente there and grabs. Side is retired. 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on, and so at the end of 6.5 innings, the score is New York 5, Pittsburgh 4. In the last half of the 7th inning, Smokey Burgess will lead off, Don Hoke on deck, and Bill Mazeroski to follow. Bobby Shantz, who came on the scene in the 3rd inning, getting ready to work, with Jim Coates and Ralph Terry throwing in the Yankee bullpen. Friend and Haddix warming up in the Pirate bullpen. Last half of the seventh inning, New York 5, Pittsburgh 4. Burgess singled in the second inning and grounded out to second in the fourth. Curveball is over. Strike one. Terry on your left, Coates on your right in the Yankee bullpen. Friend on your left and Haddix on your right in the Pirate bullpen. No balls, one strike. Smokey Burgess, the batter. Curveball is lashed into center for a base hit. Burgess opens the seventh with a single to center. And Joe Christopher will go in to run for Burgess. Joe Christopher from the Virgin Islands. He's a speed merchant. Don Hoke steps up, walked and grounded to second. Inside, ball one with a fastball. Yankees 5, Pirates 4, last of the seventh. Skowron holding against Christopher. That almost hit him inside. Ball two, 2-0. Don Hoke, the batter, taking a look down at third base coach Frank Osiak. Coates and Terry heating up. Brendan Haddix for Pittsburgh. Seventh inning. 5-4 New York. Christopher running for Burgess on first. Nobody out. And it's inside for ball three. 3-0. Three balls, no strikes. Strike one, 3-1. Joe Christopher running for Smokey Burgess. A 3-1 count on Don Hope. Nobody out. Last of the seventh. 5-4 New York. Final game of the World Series. It's foul tip, strike two. Full count now on Hope. .6" Bobby Shantz pitching to Don Hope. Full count, nobody out. Last of the seventh. New York 5, Pittsburgh 4. Christopher has a good lead off first. Bobby tossing easily over to the bag. Bill Mazeroski is on deck. Hoke asks for time. Granted by Bill Jakowski. Anything to rattle the pitcher. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Christopher on first. There he goes, and the ball is right in the left. Berra moves over and grabs it, and Christopher has to turn and race back to first. Hope lines out to Berra in left. And now coming up is Bill Mazeroski. Beat out a bunt in the second inning. Hopped to short in the fourth. Casey studying the situation as Mazeroski comes up. And now Casey's going out to the mound. Boyer and Blanchard talking to Bobby Shantz. Casey asking him how he's feeling, and now he's asking for Johnny Blanchard's thoughts. Casey started away and goes back. You stay with him. Five to 4 New York, last of the seventh. Joe Christopher on first base, 1 out. Bill Mazeroski, the batter. 5 to 4 New York. There's a bouncer hit toward Kubek, over to Richardson, back on to Skowron. It's a double play, and the side is retired. The score is New York 5 and Pittsburgh 4. Maris fouled out the third, line to right, and fouled out the third. Roy Face pitching for Pittsburgh. A little dribbler, and Face grabs it nicely. 1 away. Up comes Mickey Mantle, who flied to right center, single to right, and single to center. Drove in 1 run and scored 1. Joe DeMaestri goes down to the Yankee bullpen to loosen up, which might indicate his going in to play short, and Kubek moving to left. 5 to 4 New York. It's the first half of the 8th inning. Inside, ball 1. A line drive to short. Grote grabs it, and they're 2 away. And here comes Yogi Berra, who grounded to third, flied to right, and then hit a towering drive down the right field line for a 3-run homer in the 6th inning. Stayed just inside the pole. 5 to 4 New York. High, ball 1. Tension riding on every pitch in this final game of the World Series. High and inside, 2-0. Yogi Berra, who has a lot of World Series records to his credit, and timely hits. Roy Face in his 4th appearance in this World Series has a count of 2-0 on Berra. A high pop foul to the right of the plate and out of play. A 2-1 count. Yankees 5, Pirates 4, 8th inning. Two away, nobody on. A 2-1 count on Berra. Foul ball down the first baseline, carrying off the field boxes into right field. This World Series is being brought to you in color exclusively on NBC TV. Two balls, makes 2 outs. Foul back. Count remains 2-2. Yogi's 3-run homer tied him with Lou Gehrig for most runs batted in a World Series career, 35. Outside, ball 3. Full count, 3-2. Bill Skowron on deck. Two away, nobody on. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ball 4, high and inside. Yogi Berra draws a walk. First given up by Face. And that brings to the plate Bill Skowron. Grounded to short. Led off with a home run in the 5th inning. Fouled out the 3rd in the 6th. Yankees have 7 hits. The Pirates 5. Homers by Rocky Nelson, Bill Skowron, Yogi Berra. 2 away. The high bouncer to Hoke. They plays over to second base, safe. Hoke's only play as he went back for that high bouncer, and it is scored as a base hit for Skowron. That is his 12th series hit, tying a World Series record for most hits in the series. Now coming up is John Blanchard. Blanchard hit to the box, flied to center, and grounded to first. Yankees 5, Pirates 4, 8th inning, 2 away. Berra moves off second, Skowron off first. Outside, ball 1. Yogi on second, Skowron on first. Eighth inning, 5-4 New York. 2 men out. Roy Pace pitching to Johnny Blanchard. It's a high foul out of play off first base, and the count is 1-1. Yogi eases back to second, Skowron on first. Moose tied the record for most hits in a World Series. Billy Martin had 12 in 1953 in 6 games. Edgar Rice had 12 with Washington in 1925, and John Martin in 1931 with the Cardinals in 7 games. Charlie Herzog and Joe Jackson did the same in 8 games. There's a line drive, and it's into right center field for a base hit. Berra turns third, comes in to score. Blanchard round second, heads for third as the ball was bobbled momentarily by Clemente. Johnny Blanchard singles to right center, putting the Yankees ahead 6-4. Scoring Berra, sending Skowron to third, and bringing up Clete Boyer, who popped to second, lined to second, and flied to left center. Bob Friend gets up to throw again for Pittsburgh. Two out in the 8th. There's a line drive down the left field line, and it is a fair ball. Skowron scores. Blanchard round second, heads for third. He holds up there as the relay comes on into the plate. Skinner to Hoke into Smith. It's a double for Clete Boyer to left field. Driving in, Bill Skowron with a second run in the inning, and it is 7-4 New York. And the batter now is Bobby Shantz, who popped out in the 5th inning to first and singled to left in the 7th. With 2 outs, the Yankees have rallied for 2 in the 8th inning and lead 7-4. Runners on second and third, 2 away. Outside, ball 1. Johnny Blanchard on third, Clete Boyer on second. 2 men out. It's in there for a strike, 1-1. Pace came in to relieve Law in the 6th inning. The high pop-up off to the right of the plate, foul, and it is out of play in behind the Pirate dugout. Johnny Blanchard returning to third, Clete Boyer to second. 6 hits off base. Yankees have had 10 altogether. One ball, 1 strike. 2 down in the 8th inning. 2 runs in. 7-4 New York. Outside, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 in, 2 on. Final game of the World Series at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh. Blanchard leads off third, Boyer off second, and Chance hits a bouncer, and it is a foul ball over the head of Don Hope. Bobby often chops the ball like that. It went foul. Would have sent two men home otherwise. Blanchard returning to third, Boyer to second. Frank Crosetti chirping down there at third base. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Blanchard leads off third, Boyer off second. Bobby Chance takes it low outside, ball 3, blocked by Hal Smith. Bobby Richardson on deck. Full count on Chance. Blanchard leads off third, Boyer off second. 2 away, and Bobby Chance hits a foul down the first base line, which Ralph Houck knocks down. 2 runs in the 8th inning. New York 7, Pittsburgh 4. Blanchard moves off third, Boyer off second. 2 away. 3-2 count on Chance, and he hits a liner in the right center. Clemente goes over and grabs it. Sides retired. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, 2 left on, and so at the end of 7.5 innings, the score is New York 7, Pittsburgh 4. Gino Cimoli will bat for Roy Face. Bill Burden on deck and Dick Grote to follow. For you late viewers, the Pirates scored 2 runs in each of the first 2 innings. The Yankees picked up 1 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th, and 2 in the 8th. Yankees 7, Pirates 4, 8th inning. Terry and Coates in the Yankee bullpen. Bob Friend loosening up for Pittsburgh, along with Harvey Haddix. Gino Cimoli's had 4 for 19 in the series. Batting for Roy Face. Strike 1, slow curve. Last of the 8th. High, ball 1, 1-1. One ball, 1 strike. Screwball over, strike 2, 1-2. Bobby Chance came on in the 3rd inning and has pitched magnificently in relief, Turley and Stafford being the first 2 Yankee pitchers. Turley being charged with 3 runs and Stafford 1. 7-4 New York, last of the 8th in the final game of the World Series. Gino Cimoli batting for Roy Face. A count of 1 ball, 2 strikes. Curve is fouled back out of play. Count remains 1-2. This is the 57th World Series and the 17th to be decided in 7 games. High fastball. 2-2 count. The outfield shading Cimoli a little toward right and center and right. Berra just a touch toward left center. Pirate fans start that rhythmic hand clapping. Curve is looped into right field and it drops for a base hit. And Cimoli opens the 8th with a pinch hit, single to right. The second hit given up by Bobby Chance. Here's Bill Burden. Fly to left, single to right to drive in 2 runs, and grounded to second. It's in there, strike 1. There's the ground ball hit to short, knocked, and it hits Kubek in the face, and all hands are safe. The ball took a hard hop. A double play ball bounced up and hit him in the face, all hands safe. And Bobby Richardson goes over quickly. Now Johnny Blanchard comes out, trainers Joe Soares and Gus Mouch. And now Casey Stengel runs out. Clete Boria moves on to the scene. Bobby Shantz got him to come up with what appeared to be the double play ball. It took the hop and hit Kubek in the face. I don't know whether it hit him in the Adam's apple, around the chin, or just where. Casey at the moment blocking your view and mine. And he signals over to the Yankee bullpen, I believe, for Joe DeMaestri. Tony's getting up. Joe DeMaestri just to the left of Kubek. Tony wants to stay in. Casey wants to make sure. Mickey Mantle comes in facing you. Tony doesn't want to go out. He's trying to convince Casey that he's all right, and Casey says, look, if you're not, let's not be a hero in that sense. Casey says, I've got somebody to take over. And so Tony Kubek is leaving. Tony Kubek, who's had a great series. He had 10 hits in the series. Bill Burton is credited with the single. And the bad hop now has given the Pirates a new lease on life with 2 on and nobody out, when it appeared for a moment as if there would be 2 out and nobody on. And Joe DeMaestri will go in to play short. Gino Cimoli is on second, Bill Burton on first, and the batter is Dick Grote. Bob Skinner on deck and Rocky Nelson to follow. New York 7, Pittsburgh 4 in the last of the 8th. Nobody out. Tying run at the plate. Grote popped to short, grounded to third, line to the box. Curveball over, strike 1. Blanchard goes out saving to Bobby Shantz. Terry and Coates continue to warm up for New York. Cimoli leads off second, Burton off first. Inside, ball 1, 1-1. The last half of the 8th inning. Pirates get the first 2 men aboard. Yankees 7, Pittsburgh 4. There's a shot to left field for Baker. Cimoli rounds third, comes in to score. The throw into third, and Burton stops at second, and it's 7-5. And Casey Stengel is out of the dugout as Dick Groth comes up with his 6th hit and his 2nd run batted in. It's 7-5, nobody out. Bobby Shantz victimized by the bad hop. Will now depart. And Jim Coates will be coming in. Burden on second. Grote on first. Skinner walked, grounded to first, line to right. Nelson on deck, Clemente to follow. The ball is bunted toward third. Boyer plays it to Skowron for the sacrifice, moving the tying runs in the scoring position. Burden to third and Grote to second. And the batter is Rocky Nelson, who belted a 2-run homer in the first inning, walked in the third, and grounded to first in the 6th. It's the last of the 8th inning. The Pirates have the tying runs in scoring position. Final game of the World Series. Burden on third. Grote on second. 1 out. Jim Coates in relief of Bobby Shantz. Inside and low, almost a wild pitch. Ball 1. Louis Arroyo gets up to throw along with Ralph Terry now for New York. Burden on third, Grote on second. Pirates lashing back here in the 8th inning. Runners lead away from second and third. Rocky Nelson swings and lifts a high fly ball into short right. Burden tags and holds up as the throw comes all the way in perfectly to Blanchard. Nelson flies to Maris with no advance. And now the batter is Roberto Clemente. Popped to second, grounded to second in a double play, and hit to the box. Hal Smith on deck. 2 away in the last of the 8th. New York 7, Pittsburgh 5. On third and Grote on second, and Clemente at bat, and Jim Coates in relief of Bobby Shantz. Coates, the 4th Yankee pitcher, following Turley and Stafford and Shantz. The boy from Village, Virginia, with runners on second and third. Clemente fouls it to the right of the plate, out of play. Strike 1. Now Casey runs out of the dugout to talk to Coates. Two away now in the last of the 8th. 1 run in for Pittsburgh. Yankees leading 7-5. Burden on third, Grote on second. Roberto Clemente at bat. Outfield deep, straight away. No balls, 1 strike. Burden leads off third, Grote off second. 2 outs. Roberto Clemente lifts a foul out of play to the right of the plate up onto the roots. Strike 2, 0-2. Burden returning to third, Grote to second. In this peak moment in World Series drama. There is no tomorrow. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Burden leads off third, Grote off second. New York 7, Pittsburgh 5. Bob Clemente hits a little dribbler foul and hit it off the handle and cracked his bat. The bat boy brought out a couple, but Clemente wants still another. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Burden on third, Grote on second. 7-5 New York. Clemente takes it low outside. Ball 1, 1-2. Hearts race and pulses pound here in this last half of the 8th inning, the final game of the World Series. Burden moves off third, Grote off second. 1 ball, 2 outs, 7-5 New York. Runners widen their leads. And Clemente hits a soft dribbler towards Skowron, and nobody's going to get over. Bases loaded. Check that. 1 run came in on the play. Burden came on from third. Grote went to third. It is 7 now to 6. With runners on first and third as Clemente beat out a slow bouncer to Skowron. And here's Hal Smith coming up. Bill Burden scored. Grote went to third. Hal Smith steps in. He singled in the 7th. It's in there for a strike. Dick Grote on third. Clemente on first. High for a ball, 1-1. Clemente beating out the roller to Skowron. Scoring Burden. Grote moves to third. Strike as he took a good cut. Christopher went in to run for Burgess, who had singled in the 7th inning. Burgess started the game and had 2 for 3. Tying run on third. Clemente on first. 2 away. Hal Smith. He started a swing and held off. 2-2. Dick Grote on third base. Bob Clemente on first base. 2 runs in. 7-6 New York. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Hal Smith hits a drive to deep left field. The ball is way back out there, going. Pandemonium breaks loose at Forbes Field. The fans go wild in Pittsburgh as Hal Smith slams a long drive, 425 feet over the left field wall, scoring Grote and Clemente ahead of him. 5 runs in, and it is 9-7 in favor of Pittsburgh. And Ralph Terry is coming in to replace Jim Coates. Coates pitched 2/3 of an inning, giving up 2 hits. A 3-run homer by Hal Smith, and they are going wild here at Forbes Field as the Pirates have come from behind. They led 4-0 at the end of 2. 4-1 end of 5. Trailed 5-4 at the end of 6, and 7-4 at the end of 7.5. And Hal Smith comes through with a dramatic 2-out, 3-run homer off Jim Coates, and the Pirates are out in front, 9-7. Three runs in this inning, charged to Shantz and 2 to Coates. And so Jim Coates is the pitcher of record. One of the most dramatic base hits in the history of the World Series. In the inning, Somoli opened with a single. Burden's bouncer to short, hit Kubek in the face, and Grote singled in a run. A sacrifice put runners on second and third. A fly ball kept the runners there. Clemente beat out an infield hit to get the second run home in the inning. And Hal Smith, who had taken over for Burgess after Christopher had run for Burgess in the seventh, belts one of the most dramatic home runs ever hit in a World Series. This one is for the money, and it's 9-7 in favor of Pittsburgh. Now here's Don Hope with Ralph Terry coming in to relieve Jim Coates. Outside, ball one. That base hit will long be remembered. A curveball over for a strike. Hal Smith, born in West Frankfort, Illinois, lives in Livonia, Michigan, and at one time was Yankee property. Traded to Baltimore, to Kansas City, and then to Pittsburgh. There's another fly ball into left field. Berra moving under it. And the side is retired. 5 runs in, and Bob Friend comes in. He made 2 starts. This is his first relief appearance. And the batter is Bobby Richardson, 1 for 4. Strike one. And the crowd will roar now with every strike and with every putout. Pittsburgh fans have waited 33 years for this. There's a looper into left field, and it drops in there for a base hit. Bobby Richardson on with a single to left to open the 9th inning for New York. Bobby's 11th hit in the series. And Dale Long is coming out to hit in place of Joe DeMaestri, who had gone in to replace Kubek, who was hit in the face by the bouncer. Whitey Ford starts to loosen up in the Yankee bullpen. The Pirates opened up the bad bounce that got Kubek out of the game into 5 runs to take the lead. 9-7 here in the 9th inning. Dale Long batting for Joe DeMaestri. They foul off to the left of the plate. Strike one. Long is nothing for 2 in the series. Pittsburgh 9, New York 7, 9th inning, final game. Richardson on first. High, ball one, 1-1. Mizell warming up in the Pirate bullpen. There's a line drive to right field for a base hit. Bobby Richardson holds at second base as Clemente gets off a tremendous throw. And out of the dugout comes Danny Murtaugh. Dale Long pinch hits a single to right. And the Yankees are fighting back here in the first of the 9th, trailing 9-7 in the final game of the World Series. And with Roger Maris due up, Danny Murtaugh signals for a left-hander. He's had 2 men warming up, and I believe it'll be Harvey Haddix who have been warming up with Mizell. Harvey Haddix coming in to pitch now for Pittsburgh in the 9th. Haddix worked game 5. That was at Yankee Stadium, a game which the Pirates won by a score of 5 to 2. Bob Friend departs. Low, ball 1. Richardson on second, Long on first. Maris looks a pop-up. Foul. Hal Smith is under it. One away.
This really is exciting. It really is.
Now coming up is Mickey Mantle, who flied to right center, single to right, single to center, and line to short. 2 for 4, 1 run batted in. Yogi Berra on deck. Pittsburgh leading 9-7 in the 9th inning of the final game. Harvey Haddix coming in to relieve Bob Friend. It's been Law and Face and Friend and Haddix. Richardson on second, Long on first, and 1 away. Ball 1 low outside. Outfield deep, straight away. George Witt loosening up in the Pirate bullpen. Richardson on second, Long on first, 1 away. There's a line drive in the right center field for a base hit. Richardson will score. Long around second and goes on into third. And it's 9-8 as Mantle comes through with his third hit. And second run batted in the game. And it's 9-8 with Yogi Berra coming up. Eleven runs batted in this series by Mantle. And Yogi Berra coming up with Dale Long on third base. Mantle on first, 1 out in the 9th. Pirates 9, the Yankees 8. One out. Ball 1 outside. Harvey Haddix trying to keep that ball low on Yogi. And now Casey calls time and will send in a runner for Dale Long. It'll be Gil McDougall.
For New York, number 12, Gil McDougall, running for Dale Long. Gil McDougall.
Pittsburgh 9, New York 8. 9th inning, 1 out. McDougall on third, Mantle on first, Berra at bat. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out. Final game of the World Series. Runners lead away from first and third. Outside, ball 2, 2-0. Harvey Haddix working carefully. McDougall on third, running for Long. Mantle on first. Pirates leading 9-8. 1 out in the 9th inning. And there's a shot grab by Nelson. Steps on first, and Mantle gets back to first. He's safe, and McDougall scores the tying run on an amazing turn of events. On a hard shot by Berra. Nelson grabbed the ball, stepped on first, and Mantle, with quick thinking, stopped in his tracks, slid underneath the tag, got back to first as McDougall scored the tying run. How about that? And so what appeared to be the game-ending double play results in the tying run, and 4 runs batted in the game for Berra. Mantle on first, 2 outs, and the batter is Bill Skowron. Yogi sets a new World Series record 36 RBIs total series. Low, ball one. And so the bad hop bouncer that hit Kubek and helped lead the way for 5 for Pittsburgh is countered by an oddity at first base. Two away. There's the bouncer hit to short. And the force at second on Mantle. For New York, 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. And so at the end of 8 1/2 innings, the score is New York 9, Pittsburgh 9.